What audio gear do I need for my video shoot? I'm gonna break down exactly what you need, when you need it, and it will be simple. Let's hop into it. First, we're gonna talk about this guy. This is a shotgun microphone. This is the Audio-Technica AT8035. Now, there are different sizes of shotgun mics. You have small little ones that go on top of your camera, like so, and can mount on with the shoe mount. And then you have ones like this. You have, this is a mid-range. There are shorter ones. There's a mid-range, there are longer ones. And depending on how short you go with the shotgun mic, it will depend on how direct your audio that you're capturing. So if you get a longer shotgun microphone, obviously you're wanting to keep your microphone away from the subject a little bit farther. So if you have a shorter shotgun microphone, obviously you want to keep it as close as possible. This is a good mid-range microphone, so it's good for the up close and for a little bit far away. Sometimes if you have a wide shot, you obviously don't want the microphone in the shot. So if it's pretty wide, then you'll need a longer microphone because it can pick up further distance and it is also more direct. But this is a good mid-range right here, the Audio-Technica AT8035. I'll put the link to it in the description below. Now, do you want to use a wind cover on your microphone whenever you have a shoot? Okay, so these are rated at different values. And so this wind cover right here is for, I would say like 0 to 8 to 10 miles an hour. You might want to put this on. But if you're inside, I would recommend taking it off and just having it as is, because it does muffle it just a little bit. And then you also do have something called a dead cat, which looks like this. You can also put on top of the microphone. This is more for like 10 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour and up. There are different things like blimps that you can put on your shotgun microphones. There's also shock mounts that you can put. So whenever you're moving around, the boom op is moving around with the subject, that you don't hear a lot of noise from moving, because obviously there's a lot of parts, a lot of plastic and metals moving when you're all connected to the boom pole, cables and whatnot. But if you're shooting on an indoor shoot, make sure that you turn the air conditioner or heater off. If there's any refrigerators nearby, make sure that you keep the sound rustle, you know, that you hear, keep that at a minimum. So if you can unplug things, turn fans off, turn the AC off, and then make sure you take the muffler off and basically just use this, plug in your XLR to the end of this, and then into something that can record. Now, usually shotgun microphones require phantom power. Okay, so what is phantom power? Sometimes these guys come with a battery. This does come with a battery. So it basically just means that it's outputting a lot clearer and better audio. So what you can do is pick up you a little zoom right here. These are super cool and super nice. Make sure that's in focus. You can pick yourself up a zoom. This is a H4n Pro. I think it was about $200. So let's see it focus here. It's about $200, so it wasn't too bad. And so if you have a Sony camera, I don't know if Canons have phantom power, but Sonys do not. So if I were to record with a shotgun mic, I would need one of these. And what you do is you just take your XLR cable, you plug it into, and then you plug it into the back of this, and then you can now record audio using this, which has phantom power. Now, if you're using little shotgun microphones like this that have the shoe mount you can screw on top of your camera, I would not recommend these for commercial video shoots. Why? Well, number one, this is a 3.5 millimeter head jack. It is not an XLR cable. And whenever you think of cables, the XLR is basically a more clean sound and can capture higher resolution of audio than these little guys can. And then another thing, like I said, this is a short shotgun microphone. Look at the size difference. So this would only really be good for scratch audio. Maybe you have a 2-camera setup, you have a shotgun microphone, And then the other camera, maybe you can slap one of these guys on. If it's a camera that's gonna be closer to the subject, I would recommend putting this on the closest camera to the subject. If you have a wide shot that is way further back and maybe a side shot that's more zoomed in so the camera on the tripod is a little bit closer, I recommend putting this on that just to use as scratch audio. If something messes up with your original audio, you have this backup. Or it's also nice to use when you're syncing the two clips up in your Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, whatever you're using. These are great for vlogging. That's about it. Do not use these on a commercial video shoot as your main source of audio. Next, let's move on to the lapel mics. Check this guy out. This is the Sennheiser G4 series, and yes, it does come with batteries. The most shotgun mics that use phantom power will require usually one battery, sometimes two, but usually one battery. AA, and most lapel mics will require batteries as well, usually AA batteries. So it's always nice. I always keep extra batteries in my bag if you're ever using any type of audio, because usually you will need batteries and you'll have to replace batteries. So these guys are super great if your subject is moving around or if you have a live event. These are super awesome to use. Sometimes you will get a little bit of static with these depending on where you are, because there's certain radio channels that you can switch to where there will be more static or there will be less static. It just depends on what radio frequencies are in the building. If it's like a building that is a huge arena where there's a lot of radio frequencies going on versus if it's in your home, there will be different channels that you can change these to so that you're not getting that mic rustle whenever your subject is talking. So with these little guys, these little clips right here, let's see if we focus. Okay, with these little clips, one thing that you want to do with these is make sure that you conceal them as much as possible. Now you can use medical tape to conceal these on girls and guys, just, you know, right in between their chest right here, and then you can tape it down and kind of conceal it that way. I've seen where they'll put it inside their hat in their hair right here, and they'll kind of put their hat right over it just so you can't see it. But for the most part, using these guys, I keep them out, not concealed. I'm not shooting a film. So a lot of times whenever they are sitting down in an interview or if they're talking, if they have a button-down shirt, it's really great to take this. You want to have the mic on the outside, not inside the shirt. And you'll, between buttons, you'll clip it on. All right, I'm putting on this little shirt right here just so I can show you how to loop and put on a lapel mic, okay? Okay, so when you take the mic, what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's on the outside. Sometimes you may have to move this around with the clip so that it is in the right position. So obviously it goes this way, so I need to move it back. Going in, you want it to go boom, right here. The clip is now on the outside, okay? You want to always make sure that the wire is inside the person's shirt. So go ahead and either feed it up or feed it back. And then the lapel mic can go in their bottom pocket or can go on their belt if you have a clamp on the back of your lapel. And what you'll do is you'll just clip it right in between the two buttons. What you want to do is you want to clip this and then loop it around like so that you have a little loop. Now, if you're wanting to clip it on a shirt like this, it is a little bit more difficult. So what you want to do is make sure it's still on the outside. Let's feed up my shirt so we can. All right, so this mic is now fed up my shirt. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it around so that we can put it on this side. I like to keep it around the collarbone. I like to keep it around the collarbone area. Okay, that poked out. All right. And don't be afraid to make sure whenever you're miking someone, always ask and say, do you mind if I mic you? And get all in your business because you'll be touching them a lot. Okay, so, all right, and there you go. The mic is secure and looks good. If they have hair, you can go ahead and put it over. If there's like a little wind muffler, sometimes do that. But as you see right here, see it's kind of sticking out. You want to make sure the clip is going all the way down, just like that. No, it's not so bad, right? Okay, Never take the clip. I see people do this all the time. Never take the clip and just be like, oh, I got you. Let me mic you up. I got you. Don't do that. This is what Russell Brand does. Don't do that. Not on a commercial shoot. You could do it on fun shoots or whatever, vlogs, but don't do it on a commercial shoot. It doesn't look good. And then lastly, you'll take your receiver end, you'll plug it into your 3.5 millimeter recording area for your camera, and you have to know what the distance between your microphones are. Now, I will link these in the description below if you guys want to check these out. These are super, super reliable. I've had these for about 2 to 3 years now. I've never had a problem with them. Anytime there's any static, I just change the channel, and they've been phenomenal. The battery life is really, really good. I've used these for weddings that have been on for hours. I would say the battery lives on these things are probably around 5 to 6 hours, which is super awesome. I've used them for live events. I've used them for, you know, like teaching stuff all day and switched out the batteries like midway through. They connect and reach a very wide and long distance, which is great. And they sound incredibly awesome and clear and crisp. These type usually do not record internally, so you might want to have backup audio sometimes, but I've never had an issue with these. Every single video shoot that I've done with these, I've never had bad audio. So these are an investment, but these have worked 100% of the time. There's not been a time where they have messed up. So if you're wanting some sort of security with that, those are awesome microphones. Now these guys, the Rode Go 2, they're pretty good right here. This is what I'm using right now to film. I have it clipped on right here. One thing I do like is that they're like that type of plastic glass on the front, so it sticks to your skin pretty well. You know, so if I move around, it sticks pretty well. It's not sticky, but you know, it sticks to skin really well. These little guys are pretty good. They're not as expensive. The cool thing about these is it comes with the 2-pack, so you can record 2 people talking at once. You can record them on separate channels or the same channel, and you can record internally with these guys, which is super awesome. There is also a mode where you can have them already compressed, which is right now, it's already compressing the audio, so I don't have to do that in post. I think it sounds decent. It's definitely not as good as the Sennheisers, but for the price difference, these were about $250 versus the Sennheisers were over $600. So these guys pack a pretty big punch, which is really cool. You can also plug in a lapel mic, lavalier mic cord into these as well if you don't want to use these cubes up top. So the same thing with these is when I have those shirts on, I just take the clamp and I clamp it in the middle of the two. It does stick out a little bit, but it actually looks pretty nice because it's like one of those clips, you know, on a tie. It doesn't really look like that, but it looks pretty clean in my opinion. But these are also a super, super reliable source that I've used many times and that I use for every single one of my YouTube videos. So I will be putting the link to these in the description below so that you guys can pick them up and check them out. But I will say the distance on these is not as good as the distance on the Sennheisers. So as we wrap up, I do want to mention your headphones. So when you're recording audio, please use something like this, a little bit noise canceling. These are the Audio-Technica, I have no idea. These are the Audio-Technica 40X. They're not bad, they're pretty good. And then here's the end of that. But I would highly recommend using these over something like these, you know, like Apple earbuds and stuff. I do keep these in my camera bag at all times in case I forget headphones. These are a good backup. Now, why do I recommend these over these? Well, these, you can definitely hear the full spectrum of frequencies from, you know, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz a lot better with these than you do these. So I've been on shoots where I've used these and I did not really hear the rumble of the AC. Then when I brought it into Adobe Premiere Pro, I really heard the rumble. When I've used these, I can definitely hear the rumble. So then I make sure that I say, hey, can we turn the AC off for this shoot? And this worked really great. Can get really hot when you turn off the AC for a shoot. So I recommend when you get there, the first thing you do is say, hey, can we blast the AC for like 20-30 minutes while I set up so that it gets really cold in here, and then while we're filming, it won't heat up too much. So to recap, the shotgun mic, this is usually used for stationary shoots. If you are doing a film or something like that, then this is not the video for you. I will make another one on how to use these for film shoots. But if it's a commercial shoot where maybe it's an interview or someone's stationary, then what you want to do is get you a shotgun mic, and depending on if there's wind, you want to put a wind cover on. This is for minimal wind. If there's a lot of wind, you want to put one of these guys on. But you'll definitely be able to hear if this is not working and you need a dead cat, or if this is not working and you just need this. But I don't recommend putting all three on if you don't need them, because it does muffle the sound a little bit on the high end, which brings down what seems to sound like how clear and loud the volume is, because it takes out those higher frequencies. But how do you attach this to something? Well, you get something like a boom pole. This right here is a makeshift boom pole that I use. This is actually an arm to a light stand, so I don't really need a boom pole because my Audio-Technica came with a little clamp, boom, just like this. And here is my boom pole. I just hook up my XLR right here, feed it down the pole, and I like to wrap it around so it doesn't hang. And then I attach this to my light stand. And it goes up like this. And then you just bring it to the person, the subject. Now what you want to do, okay, is the shotgun mic, you want to get it as close as you can out of frame, so something like this, right? But just for video's sake, I'll show you. What you want is it pointing back slightly at your subject, and you want it pointing at their chest. You do not want it pointing at their mouth. You want it pointing at their chest because their voice comes this way. So it's able to pick up the audio coming here, instead of if it's right up on their mouth, you hear a lot of the like the disgusting. And make sure that your talent is drinking water so they don't get that when they're talking, okay? So this goes to your chest on your boom pole, and then what I like to do is put the shotgun microphone on the opposite side of my key light. So my key light is right here. Let me show you guys. So my key light is right here, boom. And then what you'll want to do is you'll want to set your boom pole on the other side, coming this way. Why do you do that? Well, if the shotgun mic is here and it's slightly above, sometimes it can cast a shadow on your subject's face, and you don't want that, right? So you want to put it over here off to this side so that it minimizes the amount of shadow that this whole contraption can cast on your subject. And then these guys, the lapel mics, are super awesome for if your talent is moving. I've done some shoots where my talent is walking through the building and he's like, hey, right here, this is where our team does this. On this side, check out our team over here. Let's hear what they have to say. So I've shot some commercials like that, and lapel mics are great for those because you can kind of conceal a little bit, or if you have them out, it still looks pretty clean. And these guys have never failed me. These are also good for live events because you cannot have someone walking around with a boom pole on a live event. Last thing I want to mention about these two is if you look at the differences. So this guy is literally like a tube. If you're trying to capture like isolated sounds, then this would probably be the best guy to get. These guys right here are omnidirectional, so it picks up sound all the way around the mic. This guy is a supercardioid or hypercardioid, which just means that it will capture whatever is in front of the mic. If it's on the side or the back of the mic, it will sound very muffled. If it's right up top, it will sound great. So these are really good for directional capture of audio. These are good for if you need to capture everything around that's going on. That's why these are great on the person, because any way they talk, you can hear them well. With these, if they move, They will go in and out. So I hope you learned something today about microphones and audio. If you learned something that you can use for your video shoots, feel free to leave a like button and a subscribe, because I'll be doing more videos like these. And if you have any questions, feel free to type them down in the comments below, and I will do my best to find out the answers and deliver them to you, wherever your audio journey takes you. I hope this video helped.